You and I are caught between the candles where we cannot help but live, in the close and infinite abundance held between the kindling and the dying of the light. So, with the words of Ungar, we light our chalice, as well as now the 4 weeks of Advent. Good morning. Welcome to Cross Street Chapel's Sunday service. I'm grateful for your presence here, for those who have joined us in person, as well as those listening online. And I hope that whatever it is that you are seeking in this space, be it a space for sorrow and tears, a space for joy and laughter, a chance to perhaps hear a few words of wisdom, or just a chance to rest with the divine. Whatever you seek here, I hope it will be found, as well as a warm community. And that's be it if this is your first time or your 1,000th time stepping over that threshold. Today is what we call our Blue Christmas service. We have had an anthems service of joy and celebration where we collect toys for the Wood Street Mission. We've had a carol service where we really raise our voices loud and in the joyful rejoicing of the season. But we also need to make sure that we have a time and a space to give presence to the darkness, to the sadness, to the challenges that we face at that time. And so we have a service today dedicated to that, with a bit more music, a bit more silence, a bit more reflective words. So we, of course, opened with those words of Ungar reminding us that we exist within our lives, almost as if a candle being lit and then being extinguished at its end. We reside within that period of inspiration where the inner light of our being shines forth. Let our inner voices shine forth as well with our first hymn in the Purple Book, number 27, Dark of Winter, Soft and Still, by Shelley Jackson Denon.
my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress ye. And then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
So the way today's order is set up, and it's slightly different than how we normally run things, is we have a collection of prayers and meditations and readings which are interspersed with music. So we have 3 interludes today, hurrah, all between, of course, the 4 hymns that we sing together. But let us first start with this prayer by Maureen Caloran. Not gold, nor myrrh, nor even frankincense would I have for you this season, but simple gifts, the ones that are hardest to find, the ones that are perfect, even for those who have everything, if such there be. I would, if I could, have for you the gift of courage, the strength to face the gauntlets only you can name, and the firmness in your heart to know that you, yes, you, can be a bearer of the quiet dignity that is human, glorified. I would, if by my intention I could make it happen, have for you the gift of connection, the sense of standing on the hinge of time, touching past and future, standing with certainty that you, yes, you, are the point where it all comes together. I would, if wishing could make it so, have for you the gift of community, a nucleus of love and challenge, to convince you in your soul that you, yes, you, are a source of light in a world too long believing in the dark. Not gold, nor myrrh, nor even frankincense would I have for you this season, but simple gifts, the ones that are hardest to find, the ones that are perfect, even for those who have everything. Amen. Please read with me our covenant, which you'll find printed in your order of worship and will appear online for those watching at home. We gather here in sacred fellowship to witness the fullness of our lives and all life, to hold and be held, tell stories and listen, to be renewed and renewed the world. We speak with care and patience. We act with gentleness and compassion. We forgive each other and ourselves. In faith that we build beloved community, we renew our covenant today. Amen. Our first reading today comes from Paul Beatty, entitled "Christmas Comes at the Darkest Time." Christmas comes at the darkest time of the year, not just the solar year, but the psychological year as well. Life is a stern challenge. It is hard to live well and with integrity. Christmas comes just a few days before the end of the year, when we know how little has been our achievement when viewed from the penetrating light of religious idealism. Yet, the Christmas spirit is a light shining in the darkness. It says that within the human spirit, in you and me, there is that which no darkness can extinguish. It says that human history records the lives of some exemplars, people like Jesus, who by their lives have lit the world forever with truth and love. It intimates to many that there is a cohesiveness to the forces working for good in the world. The Spirit tells us also that we must not lose faith in our power to do good, nor in our power to transform the world. It tells us also that we must not lose faith in children, in their power, and the power of countless future generations to attain heights of joy and peace, goodwill, and achievement beyond our most fond imaginings. The spirit of Christmas warms us also, making us remember that there is still a cheer, a laughter, and a hope that is part of being alive. When Christmas comes to us, we know indeed what a joy it is to give and to receive, what a joy it is to be. Christmas comes at the hardest time of the year, by Paul Beatty. We come now to our first interlude Coventry Carol performed by the U.S. Army Band. Come now to our next hymn, Theodore Chickering Williams, is In the Lonely Midnight, in the Green Book number 86, but we're going to be using the tune from In the Bleak Midwinter number 87. find a good musician, keep hold of that. That's fantastic. Thank you. I like the sound of sleet hitting the window panes at night, and I like when the sleet turns to heavy snow as it gets colder, so you know that tomorrow the world will be buried in ice and snow. It's one of the few pleasures reserved for those who don't drive. Those words of Bill Watterson, spoken by his 6-year-old character of Calvin, evoke a challenge of the season that one finds joyful and beautiful. Another will regard as perhaps a challenge and a frustration. The beautiful imagery of new fallen snow and the awareness that one has to de-ice the car, for instance. The winters where I grew up in could be very harsh, especially when I moved to upstate New York for my degree. And I remember one monumentally cold winter when, in Chicago, I was on the phone with Catherine, and I had to end this call early because my hands were just so dangerously cold that I couldn't almost sort of turn off the phone. It was so, and of course I couldn't wear gloves in order to speak with her. It was frightfully cold. And I felt at that moment, and it was a time when I was about to be moving here permanently, that this was perhaps God's way of ensuring that I didn't miss the snow, that I had one last sort of brutal memory to hold on to when I perhaps felt a bit nostalgic for my childhood. And so now I understand more deeply those words of Watterson, written when I was 12. The humor and the bathos is now not lost on me. I've seen the comic from both sides, the beauty and the majesty of the snow and the ice, as well as concern that such matters will eventually need to be dealt with. It's of course not just the snow that we might be talking about. All sorts of challenges face us in wintertime. The heating has to be turned on at some point, and so for those with stretched finances, the worry of fuel bills might dampen the warmth of a radiator. Songs celebrating the generosity of Santa Claus may be discordant for those unable to shower loved ones with gifts. The season makes a big deal of family, but for some, family is not what the commercials present. For some, especially those LGBTQ folks who have risked coming out, family is not always receptive, not always there with a hug and a cocoa and a conversation. The support of friends as an adopted family is lovely and wonderful and good, but still the sting of rejection may remain and may become all the more potent at this time of supposed festive goodwill. For some, gatherings have been diminished through bereavement. The loss of a loved one at any time of year feels more palpable in the silence of the snow. Contrasts in the noise of giddy celebration abounding. A feeling of loneliness may be amplified at this time of year. Even if the season does not pose a problem for one, life carries on, and its challenges will continue amidst the merriment. Checkbooks still need to be balanced, school runs ran. The everyday challenges of living in the 21st century aren't halted by putting up of decorations. In fact, a corner of the house needs to be cleared of its clutter for that tree. Yes, life continues on. Its joys, certainly, but also its pain. Racism and bigotry continue amidst the calls for peace and unity. Misogyny continues, and we see the gendered division of toys and occupations in our films of Santa and Mrs. Claus, who often remains nameless. Families are extolled, but still fit a heteronormative mold. There is a celebration of queerness, but one often has to look for it. My favorite piece at this time of year is Michael Pretorius's Lo, How a Rose Ere Blooming, which presents Jesus as a rose in the wintertime, whose sweetness fills the air, which dispels the darkness and lightens every load. As usual, the theology is outside of my personal belief, but I can still regard the song as beautiful and transcendent and meaningful. The meaning this year, that a rose can appear in the winter, is not simply to gaze at its beauty, but to acknowledge its thorn. That popular expression that every rose has its thorn. Life is more complex and multifaceted, holds a greater nuance than we often appreciate. And the beauty we see in something is joined together with some pain, some sacrifice, some challenge. Something unknown, something unforeseen, but there nevertheless. Picking up a rose, one that still has its thorns, is a bit of a challenge, but it is manageable. One looks to the stem delicately as its petals, I suppose, and touches it between the thorns, finding some way to pinch between finger and thumb. We can then lift it up to our nose, we can watch it with our eyes, or we can give it to someone we admire. Unless we rush in unthinking, we can easily hold on to a rose without injury. Life, however, is rarely as easy as this. Some injuries we face are unavoidable, and some will be at Christmas time. Some will be because of Christmas time. We can't avoid the thorns of life like we can of the rose. What we can do, however, is tend to the wounds of each other, to care and support each other in life's challenges, in this winter or the winter of our heart, whenever it befalls us. We can arm ourselves with the salves and bandages necessary for dressing the scratches and pricks that life throws at us and throws at each other. And hopefully, with this network of care, we can come to appreciate the beauty and fragrance of the rose, thorn and all. We can see life in all its complexity and beauty, challenge and joy, and through our trials, have hope for a community of love. Amen. We now have Praetoris's hymn, Lo, How Roses Are Blooming, performed by Catherine. Who is unable to join us in person today as she's looking after a poorly Thomas. Let us sing now our next hymn in the Green Book, number 260, "'Tis Winter Now," by Samuel Longfellow, hymn number 260. We come now to a point of sharing, and if you wish to light a candle and come forward with a few words, please do so. Please come to the microphone, so those who are listening online will be able to join us, as well as those who are using the loop system. You are, as always, invited to light a candle in silence if you wish, holding whatever joy or sorrow it might be privately. And I don't think we have access, unfortunately, to the chat, unless you're willing to have a quick look, Joe. So do type in if you are at home and wish to have a candle lit in honor of something. And as always, if you wish to remain seated, know that your presence here is enough. So I'm going to light a candle for all who feel insufficient at this time of year.
I'm lighting a candle for all the warmth that I've been shown since I joined Cross Street this year.
I like to share with you that me and Engineer Brian, we started the real process in production a film. All is talking about, through drama, talking about the world became one big village. How we live in harmony and understand each other. Thank you.
The candle is lit for my daughter's partner, Georgia, who's having some further tests on Monday, and just hope it's okay. And it's also for everybody in need of care at the moment, and for all those wonderful people doing the caring that need our support.
For all those joys and sorrows here spoken, and those that remain silently in our hearts. Let us turn to a time of meditation with these words of John Hammond. In the deep searching of our heart for that substance of the Spirit that may grant us great inward joy, we grasp for a serenity to quiet the common irritations of the day. In the deep searching of the heart, we press for the dispelling of our every fear and the removal of anxiety. All false apprehensions, all delusions, all fancied hurts and angers. We aspire for truth and confidence. Let us welcome then the blessed season of Christmas to bring us from the frenzy of our disturbances and troubled cares. Let mind and heart be one to clear the way for the flooding in of beauty and color, for song to displace the rigid prose of yesteryear, for brightness to disperse all darkness and all gloom. We would, in this time set aside, become open to the ecstasy of enthrallment, to the utter selflessness of giving, and to the sweet grace of glad acceptance. Yet in the midst of our rejoicing, we would be aware of that loneliness which comes to many isolated or kinless, and seek within our powers to transform melancholy into the cheer of care and friendship, which is the genius of this celebration. May Christmas deliver us from cynicism and from mistrust, from argument and false piety. May we feel within ourselves the excitement of our festival with its deep, profound, and sacred tidings, its message of hope to herald in a great rebirth of consecration towards righteousness and peace and love. In silence now, let us dwell for a moment on the things which for each one of us have meaning and significance. you, Rev'd. A few notices before we conclude our service. If you're in need of pastoral care, please speak with me here in person, or you can write to minister@crossstreetchapel.org.uk. Write as well if you wish to join our mailing list, which goes out about once a week. And there is tea and coffee after the service. Is there anyone here willing to manage the tea and coffee for us? Thank you, Anna. We're grateful for any donations that can assist the mission of our chapel. You can donate online at tinyurl.com/crossstreetdonate, or we have a retirement collection here in person, along with envelopes if you're a UK taxpayer, so that we may claim gift aid on those. We also have an envelope scheme if you're a regular giver, where you don't have to write in your details every week. There is no service next week, it being Christmas Day and transport being what it is in Manchester on Christmas Day. So we will be sending out sort of further information about Cross Street at the time of over the holidays. Our Wednesday services are continuing, but there won't be service here on the day. There is, however, going to be a meal provided by the Men of St. Joseph for the homeless. They are happy to have extra people to sort of help out if you want to volunteer on Christmas Day. That's at, I think they've asked that people show up at about 11:30 to help set up for that. That's some information. Is there anything else, anything that I've left off? Let us then sing our final hymn in the Purple Book, number 24, Come Sing a Song With Me, Carolyn McDade's hymn number 24. And Catherine as well, and the U.S. Army Band. Thank you to Joe for the IT, to Sonia and Robin for the flowers, for helping to set up and for greeting, and to Anna for the tea and coffee that we're about to enjoy. And thank you to all of you for creating and sharing worship today. We close with the words of Renee Rachotke. The Spirit of the Holy dwells in each of us. The Spirit of love dwells in each of us. May our flames remind us that eternal love dwells in our hearts. May our flames remind us that the Spirit of life dwells among us as we gather as a faith community. May our flames remind us that the arc of the universe needs our embodied love and faith to bend towards justice. Amen.
Thank you, Mary.